Hi, I'm Rachel Rudolph, the Extension Vegetable Specialist at the University of Kentucky, and today we're going to discuss the Florida weave on determinate tomatoes. Tomato plants, whether determinate or indeterminate, must be trellised in order to stay upright throughout the season. Early on, when plants are young, trellising helps protect plants against breakage from wind and other severe weather. As the plants grow and produce fruit, they become heavy and will lean over. It is important for fruit quality, ease of harvest, and pest and disease management that plants stay upright. For determinate plants, which are those that will only grow to about 4 or 5 feet tall, a common form of trellising is called Florida weave or basket weave. This video demonstrates how to install this trellising system. For optimal Florida weave, it is best to place a post between every 2 plants. Posts need to be in the ground before beginning to weave. They should be driven in deep enough that they do not wiggle, because as plants grow and become heavier, the posts will shift even more and not provide enough stability. A box of twine is typically used for Florida weave, as it keeps the twine manageable and feeds it out only as it is needed. This box has holes on one side that are intended for your belt to go through. Put your belt through the holes and strap it to the dominant hand side of your waist. A right-handed person would typically put the box on their right-hand side. A left-handed person would put the box on their left. If you don't have a belt, as long as you have belt loops, you can use a piece of drip tape as a belt, demonstrated here. Once you have the box of twine secured, position yourself at the end of a row of tomatoes. The posts should already be in place. You will move down the row of tomatoes, leading with your dominant hand and the box of twine. Tie the twine on the first post at the beginning of the row about 6 to 8 inches from the ground. The plants in this video are a bit smaller than ideal, which can make weaving a bit more challenging, as you will see. Weave the twine along one side of the plant and the opposite side of the next plant. Wrap the twine around the post and continue down the row. I like to make one full wrap around each post in order to keep the twine tight. Once at the end of the row, come back down on the other side, still leading with the box of twine, weaving the twine around the plants on the opposite sides from the first pass. This will form an X between the 2 plants and provide stability for the plants. Keep in mind that this is one continuous piece of twine. There is no need to cut the twine at the end of the first pass. You just wrap it around the post and come back down. You will cut the twine at the end of your second pass. Depending on the growth and development of your tomato crop, a second row of twine will likely need to be added about 2 weeks after you place the first row of twine. The second row of twine can be tied about 8 inches above the first. This goes along the outside of the plants and loops around the post. It does not make an X between the 2 plants within those 2 posts. Each row of twine thereafter will look like this second row. Here are a few things that I try to keep in mind when I am doing Florida weave. I want to keep the twine as tight as possible as I move down the row. You don't want to cut the plants with the twine, with them being so tight, but you do want the twine to hold up over time and not loosen. This works for me by only pulling out the amount of twine from the box that I need in that moment, and also doing a full wrap around each post. Another thing I try to keep in my head is to have a knife or box cutter on hand for this activity. I do think it's best to keep the box cutter or knife on my left side when the box is on my right side. As you probably saw in the video, the box gets in the way of pulling your knife out of your pocket. It did for me. Although this doesn't always work out for us with tomatoes, I do prefer to prune before adding the second row of twine if possible. Usually the first row, when the first row is added, the tomatoes are too young to prune. But maybe, and sometimes this works out, before the second row is added, it's nice to prune so that that twine is not in the way of your pruning shears. And lastly, try to remember to wear pants with belt loops. A belt is not as big of a deal as you can use the drip tape as shown in this video, but there's not a really good way around no belt loops. Happy trellising. Resources include the Vegetable Crop Extension and Research website and the UK ID 36, the Vegetable Production Guide for Commercial Growers. This video is supported by funding provided by the USDA Extension Implementation Program.